Good evening, everyone. How are you? I'm back, and this time it's not going to be poetry. These are absolutely precious books written by my friend Pranay Gupta. He is a mystic philosopher and he is deeply, deeply spiritual. And what he writes and what he says are absolute treasures. Now, he's given me a basket of treasures. He writes on everything spiritual: Hinduism, Vivekananda, Gita, Buddha, and so much more. So much more. I know he's taken books out on the Tirthankaras, he's taken books on Sri Nanak Ji, he's taken books out on Krishna. And what I'm going to be reading out this evening is from his book on the Vedas and Upanishads. So, some of you might be knowing that I have recently taken out a book, my second book of poetry dedicated to India. It's called Rooted, India 75 and We the People. And I've been wondering about the Indian nation and Indian civilization. Now, the Indian nation, of course, is 75 years old. The nation that you and I know it as, with the tricolor as our national flag. The new nation, a new nationhood, which of course is rooted in the Indian civilization, and our roots are ancient. So we are actually an ancient civilization with a new nationhood. And I was, of course, thinking about what is it that we are rooted in? What is our anchor? What is our roots? And our roots are deeply mystic and deeply spiritual, of course. This book just ties up my concept of rooting of India so beautifully. And I read from Pranay's book, just giving you a few of the gems this evening. This book is called Vedas and Upanishads, Greatest Spiritual Wisdom for Tough Times. Pranay he's a treasure house of spiritualism, and he's distilled the essence of it in his understanding and given us the absolute gems in such a beautiful, easy to understand, relevant contemporary way. So he writes, the greatest teachings of the Vedas and Upanishads are about finding peace within yourself and thereby finding peace with the world also. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti Om is said to be the ultimate teaching of Vedic literature. The Yajurveda says, make me strong, let all beings look upon me with a friendly vision, and may I also look upon all beings with a friendly vision. May we all look at each other with a friendly vision. This is the core of our rooted civilization. The Vedas emphasize this convivial living, this living with affinity and understanding within oneself and also within all levels of our socio-cultural interactions, at the level of family, at the level of nations, at the level of races, and so on. The Atharva Veda says, let our minds and intellect be united. So true. Let our minds and intellect be united. This is what Indian civilization teaches us. This is the core rooted essence of India. Let our minds and intellect be united for the nation that is India. Let us pray with our thoughts united, our hearts united. Let us live happily together, says Rig Veda. Greatness of the Upanishads. The Aitareya Upanishad, Rig Veda, proclaims Prajnanam Brahma. Higher consciousness is the ultimate truth, and ultimate truth is ultimately consciousness. The Upanishads are great and unique because they're able to absorb all of the opposites, all of the contradictions of religion, and distill them into the teachings about higher human consciousness. humanism. Isn't that our rootedness? The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad in the Yajurveda declares, Aham Brahmasmi, I am the absolute ultimate truth. If you accept the possibility of Aham Brahmasmi, that the divine exists within you and you are the divine, you immediately get connected to the immortal, the ageless. There is nothing that is greater than the other. The smallest blade of grass can also contain the power of the tallest oak tree. In its own way, in its own manifestation, there is no big or small. At a very fundamental level, all things share a commonality. And with the progression of atomic science and thereafter quantum physics, this is looking more and more true. I'm filled with such happiness and pride when I read. My friends, this is from the Vedas and Upanishads. Pranay has taken the essence of this and given us the basic essence of the teachings. And this teaching talks of convivial living, of harmony, of humanism. Steps to joy. The Maitri Upanishad, also known as the Maitrayana Upanishad from the Yajurveda, says, where there is joy, there is creation. So, no joy. Think about the primacy of joy. The lotus flower has been used a lot in Vedic literature as a metaphor. The intrinsic quality that the lotus flower is said to have is that it can joyfully grow even within the muddy waters, even within the circumstances that don't seem so favorable. Why? Because it grows choicelessly in joy. It blossoms in joy no matter what the situation is. The Upanishads say, Tat Tvam Asi, you are the ultimate truth. You are the absolute. You are part of the same infinity which begets all things. In other words, you are beyond race, language, religion. Now that is what makes the Upanishads very unique. They are the heart of Indian spirituality, yet they are very cosmic in scope. And perhaps this is the beauty of Indian civilization. Tat Tvam Asi, you are the ultimate truth. You are beyond race, language, religion. This is what it truly is. This is what is truly the spirituality of being Indian. The Upanishads teach that you are ultimately a being of consciousness, far more than flesh and bones. You belong to the ultimate. You are part of the ultimate consciousness. Advaita Vedanta teaches us to see unity of all things. It implies that seeing the unity between your bliss and universal bliss, feeling that the wave and the ocean are the same. India has, for thousands of years, produced some very original figures who transcend our ordinary definition of thinkers, religious leaders, and so on. They belong to all of humanity, yet belong to no particular path. They lived and echoed the real essence of Vedic wisdom without being mouthpieces for them. Such too is the great mystic of the 15th century, Kabir, and the world philosopher of the 20th century, J. Krishnamurti. They are rebels and iconoclasts. They do not assert any religious beliefs at all. Rather, they tell us that all patterns of ideation and thought that we have been given by society, by religion, and so on are to be transcended if we want to reach the state of joy, the state of happiness. This happens through understanding our original force of consciousness and accepting that we are as much a part of cosmos as are the stars and the galaxies, and that we are as much a part of the ocean of universal bliss as is the wave upon the ocean. Kabir and Krishnamurti are separated by each other by a few centuries. They're separated by language, but their essential language is about making us realize that true joy does not happen only in our so-called logic or intellect. True joy comes from finding the external and infinite bliss that exists within every moment, within every particle of existence. The secret of joy is to look at life without patterned and conditioned thoughts. Krishnamurti says, happiness comes when you are doing something only because you really love to do it, not because it gives you riches or makes you a prominent person. Infuse your life with more love and you move towards happiness. When you infuse your life with love, you're able to dance with joy. Within, as Kabir says, dance my heart, dance with joy, mad with joy, life and death dance to the rhythm of the music. Love and beauty are natural corollaries. So when people are in love, everything looks beautiful. The birds, the bees, the trees, the flowers, everything looks beautiful. From the Bhakti Yoga point of view, it is really when your anger is sublimated to love, your negative inclinations are sublimated to love. Everything is sublimated in the sheer joy, the sheer bliss, the sheer luminosity of the loving feeling. Love, therefore, is the very essence of existence. It is the heart of the matter. A key Vedic principle is this: a person who perceives truth, love consciousness and beauty is fearless. The mystic formula for Shiva, Satyam Shivam Sundaram, is key to understanding this. Now a person of mere knowledge may feel fear, yet a person of wisdom who understands truth, love, beauty rarely feels fear, because neither death nor life makes any difference to his perception. Rabindranath Tagore talks about this flow. It is the soulful aspect of life, and the soul is described by Krishna to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. Weapons cannot cut it, nor can fire burn it. Water cannot wet it. Sri Ramakrishna used to say this a lot. He used to say, the best thing to do is to become intoxicated with love. It is better to be ecstatically mad with love and take the risk. Ultimate ecstasy is the madness of love. That is the madness which Tagore implies and what Sri Ramakrishna talks about. Love is not expressed in Rabindranath's poetry as between a man and woman. It is expressed between the individual and the infinite. When you find this relationship between the individual and the infinite, you can never feel lonely. Be aware of love's transformative, luminous ability within your being. It is the greatest vibe and the essence of all existence. The essence of existence is no thing, but a quality of it reminds me of the Upanishadic story of Swetaketu, recounted in Indian folklore in the Chandogya Upanishad. He asks his father Uddalok about the ultimate reality. What is Brahman? Uddalok told Svetakatu to bring a fruit of the Nyagrod tree and break it open. Svetakatu took the fruit of the Nyagrod tree and broke it open, revealing the seeds. His father told him to break open the seeds. So Svetakatu broke open a seed. His father asked him what Svetakatu saw in it. Svetakatu said he saw the inside of the seed. His father again said to him, break open that. Ultimately, he told his father there was nothing left. There is an emptiness once you break it open to its essence, to which his father told him that just as the seed has come from nothing, the great Nyagrod tree has come from the seed. The idea of nothingness is the key. All things, including the universe, comes from this invisible nothing. In other words, they come from a subtle yet all-powerful essence or quality, not a thing. Ergo, there exists a primary procreative factor that cannot be quantified. And in the vision of the great modern seers of Upanishadic wisdom such as Tagore and Sri Ramakrishna, the subtle quality is love itself. How beautiful are these words? How beautiful are our ancient scriptures, the essence, the root of India, that is Bharat. And India, that is Bharat, talks of love, talks of humanism, talks of one infinite consciousness. Thank you, Pranay, for this beautiful, beautiful distilled essence of such important teachings.